Whenever we have control, we feel great. But when that control is gone, all of a sudden, it feels like everything has been flipped upside down. So why do we feel the need to control everything? Or at the very least, certain aspects of our life? Or even worse, other people's lives? Let's start focusing on the things that we can control and allow fate to decide the rest. Because when you try to control things which you have no power over, they in turn gain that power to control you instead. So don't allow yourself to become a puppet. Your mind deserves better than that.
So, let's talk a little bit about control, and more specifically, lack of it. I don't need to tell you, you already know that you can't control everything that goes on around you. But even though we know, we still try anyway. Sometimes, some people more than others, but the fact is that people will still try. And the biggest problem is when we try to control the things that we can't, in the end, it's us that take it on the chin. It's us that get hurt. It's us that are affected, not the other person or the other thing that you try your best to control. One of the most common things that I see, and to be honest, in the past, myself included, is attempting to change other people's behavior, specifically through trying to do certain things or behave a certain way yourself. And long story short, we all end up in the same position where the other person never changes, we try doing what we do, and it doesn't work. So that's why we have to let things go. Ultimately, the more you can let go, the better. Because the more you can just say, that's fine, I don't care, the easier and more comfortable life becomes. Just like that. It's honestly like a magical power. Because the moment someone tries to get under your skin and your reaction is no reaction, all of a sudden the power dynamic shifts completely in your favor, and now you're the one with the power in the situation. And I'm not saying this to manipulate or control people, but my point is to reverse as to what's been happening to you, because you've been trying to control other people so hard or overthink so hard when we know you cannot. When you let it go and you just let things be, more often than not, you actually gain more control than you realize. Because people, things, situations, animals, they want to decide for themselves, or they want to just go with the flow, right? So whenever there's a force, aka ourselves, trying to grab onto that and force it to change direction or do this or think this way or behave this way, then all of a sudden it just causes friction and it just doesn't go anywhere. Because if you believe, let's say you have to behave a certain way in a specific situation, and another person would do something that you would see as disrespectful, no matter how much you try to convert or persuade that other person to behave differently, they won't. Because they don't see the situation the same way you do. And that works for all aspects of life and with just anything else around you. Letting go is honestly one of the best habits anyone can get into. And it's something that I continuously train and try myself. And honestly, the better I get at it, the better I feel. So if you see or hear someone say the sky looks green, or they say 2 + 2 = 5, just say, fair enough. Because if they believe that in the first place, there's an insanely slim chance they're going to think differently just because you told them to do so. So just let people think what they want to think. Let people do what they want to do. Let things go, and watch how much more control you gain over your life. So letting go doesn't work for you. That's fine, because I don't want you to let go of absolutely everything. You still need to focus on certain things, and you still need to take control of certain things. But I want you to focus on the things that you can. Focus on the things you actually can control. Because if someone decides to be mean to you, you can't control their actions. You can't control the things they're going to say, no matter what you do. But what you can control is your reaction to whatever it is that they're doing. So, like in the previous point, if they want a reaction out of you and you don't give them one, well, you win. And it really is as simple as that. Because once you put your focus on variables that you have actual genuine power over, everything changes. So let's go into a little bit more detail about that. Every single time you focus on something that you can, it makes you feel better, makes you feel in more control, makes you feel like you're more grounded in the situation that you're in. And then the opposite effect happens when you try to do for the things that you can't. Meaning, people's behaviors, the weather, what will people say, how will people think. We can't do anything about these things, and that's just something we just need to accept and let it be. So whilst we're focusing on the things that we can, ultimately what we're actually doing is we are focusing within and focusing on ourselves, because that is the only thing we can control, is ourselves. What we do, how we look, the way we behave, the way we react to things, that is all up to us. If somebody's mistreating you, you have the power to stop interacting with that person. You can just let them go. You can move on. That choice is yours to make. Obviously, it's not easy. In the moment, we might not see it, we might not feel it, but over time, it will come to us. And then after it happens, we will realize what we did. But the point is, you have that power over yourself. Oftentimes, when we focus on the things that we can control, we end up saying no to external things and saying yes to ourselves. And a lot of times, that does kind of lead a kind of like goes full circle back to the whole self-improvement thing. Is I'm going to say no to this person because I don't fancy going out and just staying out till 4 a.m. and feeling absolutely crap the next day. I'm going to say yes to myself. I'm going to stay inside. I'm going to cook myself something nice. I'm going to watch a cool film. I'm going to have a bath, and then I'm going to chill out. And then the following day, I'm going to feel amazing. Because we can do that. We can say yes to ourselves, and we don't have to feel guilty about it. Not many people want to hear this, but the reality is, if someone makes you angry all the time, there's a very big chance it's not actually them, it's just you, and it's how you react to the things that they do. Because ultimately, the reaction is yours to make. Their behavior is theirs to make. So if you're constantly angry at the way someone behaves, you choose to be angry at them. Obviously, if someone just turned around and punched you in the face, you've got every right to be angry. That's pretty normal. That's a pretty normal reaction. But what I mean is if somebody does something on purpose, something spiteful, something that will give them a reaction out of you because they enjoy getting under your skin, you technically choose to get angry at their actions. Because alternatively, what you can choose is to not react, is to ignore them, is to part ways with them, is to block them. You have all these choices. All those choices are there for you. So instead of focusing on them, focus on you and what you can do. We've been talking a lot about letting go, letting people be, just not caring about certain things. But what about the other side of it all? What about the choice that we do have? And this time, I'm not talking about the choices within, aka, how we react to things, how we behave, what we do, things like that. I'm talking about picking your people. Because just as much as you have the power to let somebody go, you also have the power to pick people in your life. Within reason, obviously. Not everybody's going to want to be your friend, your partner, whatever. But you still have the choice to actively seek out a certain type of person or a certain type of people. Potentially you've had some sort of, crisis, or something's happened and you think, I am done. I want to turn my life around. So instead of hanging around with people who don't want to better themselves or their situation, they are simply content with living the way they are. You think you've had enough. So instead you're going to seek out people who actively try to better themselves. They work on themselves, they try to work on their career, their future, their business, whatever it may be. You decide to try to find different people to hang around with. And this is very possible, by the way. It's just a matter of where you hang around and what you do. So it's all based on the choices that you make. So choose better, choose different, choose change. Because when you choose to hang around with people who are better for you, the whole need of trying to control their reactions and behaviors is going to be completely gone. Because you're going to soon realize that they behave similar to you. And you won't want to change them. You will just want to reciprocate their energy. So there's a big chance that if you think a certain behavior is disrespectful, they probably also think the same, and they probably won't do it because they know what it actually means. They know what it means to disrespect somebody. And when you do find people like that, you want to grip tight onto them. You don't want to let them go, because we need people. Humans are social creatures by nature. That we just can't help it. There's nothing we can do. I like my solitude. Really enjoy it. I like being alone. I like doing things alone. I like working alone. But I also absolutely love the social aspect of things. Whether that's the social aspect of doing something fun together, such as just going to the cinema, or
the social aspect of going to train together in the gym. I can go do both on my own with no problem, no question, but I really enjoy doing those things with other people. But I don't want to do that with people that are going to drain me. I don't want to have to go to the gym with somebody that's going to complain about being in the gym the whole time we're there, because the only thing that's going to do is affect my mentality and my view of the gym. Because the more you're exposed to other people's negativity, the more it just slithers its way into our minds and just affects us negatively. That's why I make such a strong point about picking the right people in your life. So leave all of that emotional baggage behind you with all those people that aren't good for you, and find the people who uplift you and want to see you do good. Choose the right people for you. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. And if you want to talk about anything that I've mentioned in today's video, please leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. Last week, we spoke about our demons and ultimately how we can deal with them, and also how to make things a little bit easier. It would be an absolute world to me if you like and subscribe. It helps me out an absolute ton. I'm going to leave that video right here for you to go and click, and I hope I see you there. Thank you. Bye bye now.